Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. On this channel, we discuss day-to-day problems people face in their lives. Let's start with the video. My little sister has 6 kids, 10 male, 7 female, 6 female, 6 female, 4 male, 2 female, who I love and babysit when I can. I'm child-free and my husband and I have a decent amount of fun money saved for us to spend on whatever we want. And I'd use mine sometimes to take my Niblings to fun spaces. I still take them all out somewhere at least 2 to 3 times a month. Now, when it was just the oldest, I'd take him for a day to give my sister and brother-in-law a break. I'd take him to museums, fairs, kids' play places, Chuck E. Cheese, amusement parks, etc. With just one kid, it was pretty easy to do. Then the second oldest came along and I was still able to swing it. But then with the addition of the twins, it became harder to afford. Not to mention watching 4 kids is way harder than watching one. By the time the 4-year-old came around, I couldn't afford to take them all to the same place anymore. It cost too much. So I started taking them to cheaper free places, like the park, free kids' day at the museum, the mall, swimming at my house, etc. Now, with the 2-year-old, I've totally stopped taking them anywhere that costs more than a couple bucks each. But last week when I was dropping the kids off at my sister's place, the oldest asked if we could go to the fair next month. I didn't think I'd be able to afford that, but didn't want to outright say no, so I told him I wasn't sure, but we'd see. After the kids ran off, my sister asked why I wasn't sure about the fair, and I told her I didn't think I'd be able to afford tickets and food for 7 people. She said it couldn't cost that much, so I told her that each ticket was about $10 the last time we'd gone, and that wasn't counting the money spent on food. I said I'd be happy to take them all to the fair if she paid for at least the tickets. She went off saying that she and brother-in-law didn't have that kind of money, how they had 8 mouths to feed and clothes to buy and she couldn't waste money on the fair. I asked why she thought I was made of money and she said I had more money than them. And it's not like I have 6 kids to take care of. I told her I loved taking the kids out, but if she couldn't help with paying for expensive places, then the kids would have to be content with going to the park or swimming at my house. Sister said I'm a huge a-hole, and when I told our parents, they said it was sort of a-hole-ish since I only take them out a couple times a month instead of taking care of them 24/7 like my sister. So now I don't know. Hup says I'm not the a-hole, but I don't know. I mean, I could swing taking them all to the fair, but it's just so expensive. Am I the a-hole asking for help paying? Edit. I want to thank everyone for all the amazing comments and DMs. After all the resounding not the A comments, I've come to the conclusion that I'd become used to my family's treatment of me over the years. I'd always been aware it wasn't really fair, but I put up with it to keep the peace and see my Niblings regularly. But I can't keep spending such outrageous amounts of money on kids that aren't even mine anymore. Especially when I'm not even getting a half-aced thank you in return. It's not fair to me. So I called my sister and told her I won't be taking her kids out for fun days for the foreseeable future. I told her that she's been really entitled to expect me to foot the bill to babysit her kids, and if she apologizes sincerely, then I might start taking them out again sometime in the future, but for now I'm gonna keep my distance. She didn't take it well and called me a lot of hurtful names before hanging up on me. Not long after, my mom called me and told me I was being selfish and rude. But I snapped at her that she was being rude, expecting me to pay upwards of hundreds of dollars a month for kids that I didn't give birth to, while coddling my sister was crappy parenting. And I said how sick and tired I was of being treated like free babysitting for my sister just because I never popped out any grandkids for them. And if she and my sister thought taking all 3 kids out 3 times a month was no big deal, then I'll send her the bill. Which I did. I sent her pictures of the receipts from the last 3 places I took my nieces and nephews, each one being no less than $70. She hasn't called or texted me back. I'll just see what happens, but thanks everyone. Edit 2. To everyone thinking I'm cutting all contact with my Niblings, I'm not. I said I wouldn't be taking them out to fun activities, aka expensive places anymore. I still fully plan to go see them and hang out with them, but until my sister apologizes, I won't be doing the pricey weekly outings anymore. Not the a-hole. So if she can't afford places like the fair because of having 8 mouths to feed, why does that responsibility have to fall on you? She's being entitled instead of grateful that you've done so much as you have all these years. Being child-free doesn't mean having all this disposable income to spend on other people's kids, no matter how much you may love them. Not the a-hole original poster. Not the a-hole. OP, you take your nieces and nephews out 2-3 times a month, which is far more than most uncles and aunts do. And rather than be grateful, your sister is demanding you do more. Your sister is quick to count and spend your money. I think you've found a very wise solution to continue spending treasured time with your nieces and nephews without breaking the bank. You've done nothing wrong at all. It's your sister who's being an unreasonable a-hole. Not the a-hole. The entitlement coming from your sister is insane. Who decided to have 6 kids? I'm assuming it wasn't you. Do your parents spend that kind of money on them more than twice a month? The fact that they think they can dip into your pocket, it's freaking absurd. If I were you, I would take a nice little break from her and the rest of the family until she apologizes and pays for half of any activities you do with her children. Jesus effing Christ, what is wrong with people? I have 5 children, out of choice. I would never dream of asking anyone for anything for our children. No babysitting without pay. If you want to take my children somewhere, you better believe I'm paying for it. Your sister is being very entitled. Maybe don't take the kids anywhere for a bit to make a point. LOLOL. Not the a-hole. I'm sorry, did someone get your approval when they laid down and made 6 kids? I will answer you, no. This is why we have such entitlement in this country, which is not new, hence your parents co-signing on this nonsense. I would talk to my parents and say I need money for each kid's ticket and spending money. If they do it, fine. If not, I would ghost my sis for a couple of months, but I would call the kids. I would also lay everyone out on this complete nonsense in a calm way. One retort would be, did you ask me to have 6 kids? Don't spend someone else's money because, no surprise, it's not yours to spend. Next story. Hey, I wanted a perspective on this issue that I had the other day. I honestly don't understand why my dad is mad at me, but I just don't want to put up with this anymore, and some members of the family are siding with him. My dad's girlfriend is a person who is kind of difficult to be with. She's usually very entitled and she describes herself as honest when she's just mean, and she usually body shames us. To some extent, she was a very fat girl who suffered bullying about her weight. This made her change her lifestyle to an extremely healthy one. She goes 6 days a week to the gym and barely eats. She has gone to a ton of nutrition professionals and comes back super mad because apparently they told her that she needs to eat more protein, vegetables, whatever. Plus, she kinda hates the fact that she doesn't have a waist like a Kardashian. Like, she has a super unrealistic beauty standard. Of course, she has lost a ton of weight and she's a very beautiful woman, even before her weight loss journey. Sadly, her personality changed a lot. She hates people that are fat or that don't work out or that are comfortable with having a little fat on their bodies. I hate it because she literally hates it. Thinks that all fat people are miserable in their lives and that people that don't go to the gym are unhappy with themselves. To be clear, I'm not an athletic person. I do not work out and I don't feel the need to burn every calorie that I eat. So I'm not precisely thin, more like a medium girl. And every effing time I come here, she's in my room telling me, you should have thinner arms so you're more attractive. You should consider a breast reduction and have some fat removed from the butt. Just saying. I love your waist, but it's purely because of the fat you have in there. If you lost it, you would be square. And a lot more. This Saturday I turned 19 and my dad and she came to give me an early present. She got me a dress that was extremely tiny, like an XS, when I'm visibly an L, and she proceeded to tell me, happy early birthday. I bought it one size smaller so you can motivate yourself into losing some weight. So no need to have cake today or Saturday. And no exchange is possible so you can have more motivation. I just smiled and thanked her, but told her I didn't want it. I felt very pressured by her and I didn't think she came to me in a friendly type of way. I'm happy with my body and I don't care if I'm fat or thin in her eyes. She was shocked and went to their car to wait for my dad. He later called me and told me that I was very ungrateful and that she was just trying to help. I told him that she wasn't. She just can't stand people that are not like her. I want to clarify that I don't hate her at all. but she needs to stop body shaming people. It is not normal to be this obsessed with other people's weight, and I'm sorry to be comfortable with having a tummy or wider legs, but that doesn't bother her existence, so she has to leave me alone. Am I the a-hole? Edit. Well, I didn't expect the attention this is getting, lol. But to clarify some things. Thanks to all the people telling me I should work out and eat less. Thank you for your concerns about my weight and my existence. If you want more information, I am female 5'7" tall and weigh 149 pounds. If you're smart enough, search what BMI is and you will see that I'm at healthy weight. No, I do not live with them. I go there some days of the week. My mom is siding with me at all costs and being super supportive. Don't bring her into this or question where she is because this is not her fault. Edit 2. First of all, thank you all for the awards and birthday wishes. You are so sweet. I wanted to say that I'm trying to read everything and all the revenge ideas are so petty. LMAO. But I'm starting to think that she might have an eating disorder or some kind of a problem regarding the weight subject. Any of this revenge might trigger her disorders, and I do not support that. You're very funny though. Not the a-hole. Just wow. Have you told your father the sort of things she's been telling you? I'm not an expert, but this sounds like emotionally abusive behavior on her part. There is nothing wrong with being a stick. It's one thing to encourage someone to exercise for their health, but to nitpick at every little thing and to give you a dress that's so much smaller? Oof. It would be one thing if it was a dress you have fallen in love with and it was the last one or something, but damn girl, she sounds like she became exactly what she hated as a kid. Usually my father is present when she makes comments, but my father is the most neutral human being I've known in my life. He thinks she's helping or things like that, I don't know. And yeah, the dress was pretty, but nothing out of this world. It was black, tight, and short. In my size, I would have loved it. Not the a-hole. You handled that so well. Like legit, I'm proud of you. This woman is ruled by an eating disorder and is inflicting her disordered views on health and bodies onto you. It is not your job to gracefully accept the passive-aggressive body dysmorphia of a grown woman. I feel like maybe some men of a certain generation just struggle with the nuances of body image, especially those of women. I don't think you need to apologize to her. I don't think you need to accept the gift. I'd feel free to set a firm boundary with them. You love them, but you're not welcoming criticism of your body or your eating patterns. Also, feel free to set a no clothes rule. My best friend, a mid-sized woman with a well-meaning but very diet-obsessed mother, has a firm line with her mother that she's not allowed to gift her clothes because she 100% never gets the right size, and it brings up a lot of triggering memories for them about fights about weight, diets, and the shame of not fitting into clothes. Not the a-hole. She gave you a present that didn't fit in order to motivate you to lose weight. This wasn't a kind gift, as you noted. It was a shaming, passive-aggressive sort of gift. I'm glad you didn't just say thank you and put it in the Goodwill box. Your stepmother needs some boundaries when it comes to discussing your appearance, and your father needs to stop supporting her in this regard. She's a bully about weight, and she needs to stop. Next story. Long backstory. My brother and I have had a strained relationship our whole lives. We come from a really abusive home. Our mom was amazing, but we were all horribly abused by our dad. She wouldn't leave. When I was 17, I moved out of state and had very little contact with anyone outside of my mother. My mom ended up being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer and fought really hard for 8 years. I would fly in to visit her every few months as I could. I ended up married to a really horrible and abusive man. He ended up having a heart attack and had to have a quad bypass. He was horrible to care for and just got more and more cruel. 3 months after his heart attack, my mom's health turned for the worst and she passed. Our dad was horrible to us, going as far as trying to sue us for some money our mom left us. After the funeral, my husband got more and more abusive and I took the money she had left me and filed for divorce. I decided I needed some me time, so I decided to go spend time at Disneyland and visit family in the area. My brother told me I was stupid for getting a hotel and I should stay with him and his family. He has 2 girls, 5 and 8, that I have only met twice. When I got there, I was shocked that he and his wife were planning to go to work and leave the kids with me. I am not good with kids. I don't dislike them. I'm just uncomfortable being responsible for them. The entire family knows this very well. I've been like that since I was a kid. I'm happily child-free. I told him I wasn't here to be daycare for his kids. He got upset because he had already told our aunt she didn't need to watch them that week. I was irritated that he hadn't even asked me about this. I told him I wasn't planning on being available to sit at his house watching his kids while they worked and reminded him I was planning to spend a few days at the park, which is a few hours away. I may be bad with kids, but I know better than to even mention Disneyland around them. Later that night, he tells me it is stupid to pay for a hotel by the park. I should just drive up for the day, then I can take the girls. Without missing a beat, he asks them if they want to go spend the day with their aunt at Disneyland. Their response is what you would expect. I was floored. I told them I had to go home and I couldn't go. I grabbed my stuff and drove up and found a hotel close to the park. I spent 4 days bouncing between parks, ordering room service, going to the pool, spa, and bar, and a few times just drowned my sorrows alone in the hotel room. My phone blew up with family, who I haven't been close to in over a decade, telling me how awful I was and how much I had upset the girls, my brother and his wife. That they were all grieving too, and I was being selfish. So am I the a-hole for not taking them? Not the a-hole. Your brother assuming you would babysit without asking, deciding for you that a hotel is inappropriate, and manipulating the situation to guilt you into taking his kids to Disneyland are all signs that your relationship with him is emotionally abusive. Given everything you've been through as a child and an adult, I hope you've already found a good therapist. Block his number and those numbers from family who were critical and don't look back. Not the a-hole. He clearly invited you for selfish reasons. He purposely didn't tell you he was hoping you wouldn't be able to say no to his children. He was being a manipulative a-hole. I'm so sorry you've gone through all that, and then to have this piled on. I hope you enjoyed Disneyland and were able to relax. Now go live your life and continue keeping those family members at arm's length. Not the a-hole. I'm glad you placed self-care ahead of appeasing your a-hole brother. This is a wonderful opportunity to delete the numbers of every family member who called or texted to criticize you. Even better, ditch your old number entirely and start off a new life free of these revolting, toxic people. Next story. I have an old college friend, Nick, 32 male. He has a fiancée, Sophie, 24 female. They've been together 3 years, and Nick has repeatedly suggested an open relationship, to which Sophie has refused. Until a few months ago, when he said he'd only propose if she agreed to an open relationship, she agreed. I said to him at the time that he was an ace for doing it, and he said that he was just acting in his best interests. Now, Nick wanted an open relationship so he could see Anna, 29 female, a girl we knew from college who he'd always had a thing for, but she was married when she was 18 to 26, so he never had a chance till recently. He hadn't had a chance to see her yet because she had been living with her sick mom and they couldn't afford to rent a hotel room. Now, the issue is that Nick showed up at my house last weekend with a suitcase absolutely livid and asked to crash on my couch. He said Sophie had gone out to dinner and had intercourse with a male model and that she was cheating because he hadn't had the chance to see Anna, and it was unfair for her to see someone so much hotter than Anna. Not that Anna isn't attractive. I basically laughed at him and told him this is exactly what was going to happen and that he was being selfish, expecting Sophie to not see anyone or to see people less attractive than her. She's very attractive and I don't know why she's with Nick, to be honest. He went off on me for not being supportive and stormed out and is trying to turn our friend group against me for not supporting him. I've taken a few days to think about it, but I still can't decide. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Wanting an open relationship because one person from your past is now single is a huge red flag, and I hope Sophie realizes that soon and leaves him. You're not the a-hole for pointing out that Nick got what he asked for. Not the a-hole. He didn't want an open relationship though. He wanted to be able to sleep with other women, hoping his girlfriend wouldn't because she wasn't keen on the idea to begin with. Nick is an a-hole and he reaps what he sows.